Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining me. So this evening I wanted to make a brief video for you about Yule. And Yule is a pagan holiday, and I wanted to talk a little briefly about what Yule is and show you what I have done to transform my bookshelf, or my altar space, as some might call it, to reflect Yule and how I decorate for this time of year. So Yule is it's a very, very old celebration, very old holiday. It has pagan roots, and in fact, it precedes Christmas. It precedes Christian holidays. So when we look back at what Yule is historically, when we look at what Christmas is today, a lot of the traditions that Northern Europeans and Germanic peoples used to celebrate, some of their traditions today have been carried forward. And so what we know as Christmas today, there are a lot of aspects of Christmas that have been brought forward from generations and generations ago, of our ancestors that once upon a time celebrated Yule and other pagan holidays. So for instance, the Yule log. The Yule log historically was a very large log, almost basically the body of a tree, almost a long tree trunk that would be carried back into a village and burned for the duration of Yule. So Yule begins on December 20th and runs through December 23rd. So there are 4 full days of celebration for Yule. And then, of course, shortly after Yule, we have Christmas. So for myself, I feel very fortunate to celebrate both. And for me, I also feel very fortunate to have been exposed to both throughout my life. So like I was talking about with the Yule log, there are, maybe you've heard of a Yule modern day. A Yule goat is basically an ornament. It's a small goat ornament or figurine, and previously it would be constructed mostly out of straw, and there were some places that would construct a very large Yule goat, and unfortunately those were targets for arson, vandalism. They would be vandalized. So so you have Yule log, a Yuletide caroling, Yuletide carols. All of these things have been taken from the past and have been brought forward to today, and they are part of what we know Christmas to be today. So I think that's the case with many, many different holidays today, that there are always deep roots associated with them, and we get to have what we know of the holiday today, but there's deep roots too, and a lot of really rich history behind the holidays that we celebrate. So I just wanted to talk about one thing that my mother used to do. She used to make this Yule log, and it was made of chocolate. I'm not quite sure how she made it. I might have to ask her for her recipe if she still has it. It was for a Yule log, and it was made of chocolate dough, and she would roll it out and create like a log shape, and then she'd sculpt it into as much of a log as possible, and then she would roll it in wax paper and put it in the refrigerator for several hours. And then once it would firm up, you could go and slice a piece of this log and eat it, and it was out of this world. It was delicious. And she used to collect pine cones and leaves, and she would press and wax the leaves to preserve them. And she liked to bring nature into our home during autumn or fall and Christmas time. And to this day, I also enjoy doing that. I like to collect pine cones and stones and different types of rocks and twigs and branches and things like that. I like to have those pieces of nature in my home. I like to look at them and see them and feel them and smell them. I like to be surrounded by that in my home, and of course this time of year is no exception. And what I like to do for these pagan Sabbaths or pagan holidays, I like to bake. And now for Yule, I want to do the same thing. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to make. Typically, I like to bake some type of a biscuit, bread, like just a basic round loaf of bread, like a crusty bread, banana nut bread, or banana nut loaf, and also my pecans. I make these candied pecans. That's something that my mother used to make from the time I was a little girl. I think she used to make them back in the 60s when she and my dad would go to holiday parties. That was one of her signature treats or offerings that she would bring to parties that she and my father would attend. She also used to make a cheese ball as well, and it was mostly cream cheese, blue cheese, and Roquefort cheese, and she would mix all of that up with some minced onion and roll it in chopped pecans, and it was very good. Back when I used to eat dairy, it was really quite good. But I think a lot of us like to cook or bake around this time of year if we have the time and the motivation to do it. But for me, this is it's a nice special time of year because for me, I get to celebrate both Yule and Christmas. So very special times. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that with you, and I'm just going to keep it short for now. But thank you for joining me this evening, and I hope you're doing well, and take care this time of year. All right, I'll check in with you next time. All right, here's a brief look at my little area that I have decorated for Yule. It's my bookshelf. And you'll notice from my Samhain video that I'm leaving my my dried leaves up on the wall. I did find a very large branch from a pine tree that had been cut, and someone left it on the ground, so I brought it home and cut it into smaller pieces. And that pine cone I found on a walk. And I've got some of my crystals here and some sage. Got my glittery amethyst there, and I've got a large pine cone that I decorated with some of my stones and some star anise. I made that star back in October. I have a large piece of smoky quartz. It's not as elaborate as my Samhain decoration video, but that's all right. And then this picture here, this came out of a health food store magazine, and it has a recipe for, I think it's hummus on the back side of it. And I fell in love with this picture and I colored it in with colored pencils, and I have had it for probably 25 years. But I like that picture. But this is it. I found another pound cone. But this is my Yule shelf and how I have it decorated for now, and it'll be up for Christmas as well.